Hi, this is Rudy Jones of PalmettoStateBaseball.com. Welcome to the South Carolina College Baseball video recap for Friday, April the 25th. Sorry this is so late, but Bob Jones played a split doubleheader today. They were originally supposed to play at 4 and 7 o'clock. They got pushed back to 6 and 9, and the final game of the day just ended a little bit after 11:30. So that's what's going on here. There were 18 games involving state teams played on Friday, and there were a couple that were rained out or suspended. We'll get into that later. First off, up in Raleigh, NC State beat Clemson again 8-3 to hand the Tigers their first back-to-back losses of the season and also their first ACC series loss of the season. For the Wolfpack, they had 13 hits coming off of a 19-hit performance last night. The NC State is now 29-12, moved ahead of Clemson 14-6 in the ACC. Clemson fell to 36-8 and 13-7. The Tigers got home runs from Jacob Jarrell and Colin Priest. And also, Andrew Schufo had a double, was hit by a pitch, and scored a run. Elsewhere, Andrew Stanley and Maddox Webb combined on a 5-hit shutout. The Citadel beat VMI 5-0 to start that big rivalry series down in Charleston. The Bulldogs are now 21-19 overall, 5-5 in the conference. VMI fell to 25-18 and 5-8. For the Citadel, Phillips Daniels was 3 for 4 in the leadoff position. He had a double. He also scored a run. Also in Division I play, Gabe Natividad and Kobe Croft had 3 hits apiece, and Winthrop beat Longwood 8-2 in the opener of that Big South Conference series. That was the 500th career NCAA win for Eagles coach Mike McGuire. Previously, he coached at Lander in Division II, also Morehead State and USC Upstate in Division I. And those 500 wins do not count 52 wins in one season at Lewisburg College in North Carolina. For the Eagles, also, Harrison Wilson went the first 6 1/3 innings. He allowed 3 hits and 1 run, and he picked up the win for Winthrop. The Eagles are now 23-21 in the Big South. 23-21 overall, 9-7 in the Big South, and 10-32 for Longwood and 4-12 in the Big South. At McGuire's former school, USC Upstate, Amp Phillips pitched 6 shutout innings, and 4 teammates hit home runs as USC Upstate beat Gardner-Webb 15-3 to open that Big South Conference series. The Spartans are now 22-21 overall, 9-4 in the Big South. Gardner-Webb fell to 16-26 and 5-11. For Upstate, Scott Campbell had a home run, 2 singles, was hit by a pitch, and scored 3 times. Elsewhere, down in Clinton, Amon Dewberry singled twice, homered, and drove in 6 runs as Presbyterian snapped a 6-game losing streak with a 14-2 win over Charleston Southern in Big South Conference play. For the Blue Hose, Terrell Williams went the first 6 innings. He allowed a run and struck out 5. PC is now 17-22 overall, 9-7 in the Big South. Charleston Southern fell to 22-16 and 8-8 in the Big South. Down in Charleston, UNC Wilmington took command with a big 5-run 4th inning and handed College of Charleston its 5th straight Coastal Athletic Association loss. The score of this game was 9-1. For the Cougars, Ethan Plyler had a home run. College of Charleston fell to 23-17 overall, 7-9 in the conference. UNCW improved to 22-19 and 10-6. Coastal Carolina was losing to James Madison 1-0 heading to the 8th inning when that game was interrupted by rain and eventually suspended. They'll pick it up at 3 o'clock on Saturday, followed by the scheduled game. Also, South Carolina's Friday night opener against Kentucky in SEC play was rained out. They play 2 tomorrow, starting at 2:30 up in Lexington. In Conference Carolinas, Josiana Sanchez's 10th inning RBI single helped Erskine to snap a 6-game losing streak with a 6-5 win over Shorter College. The Flying Fleet is now 19-29 overall, 8-20 in the conference. Shorter fell to 24-20 and 12-16. For Erskine, Jude Luttrell was 3 for 5 with a walk and an RBI. Also in Conference Carolinas, North Greenville kept its hopes of sharing the regular season title alive with a 10-3 win over Southern Wesleyan up in Tigerville. For the Trailblazers, Gideon Antle was 3 for 5 with a double, 2 runs scored, and 3 RBI. In Conference Carolinas, North Greenville is now 9, 20 and 8. Excuse me. Francis Marion has concluded its schedule. They are at 22 and 8. Best North Greenville can do if they win 2 games on Saturday is 22 and 8. And Young Harris right now is at 21 and 7. If Young Harris should win both of its games remaining this weekend, Young Harris would win the regular season championship. If it should falter once, it could be a 3-way tie depending on what North Greenville does. If Young Harris loses twice and North Greenville does not win, does not sweep Southern Wesleyan, then there's a chance Francis Marion could clinch the regular season championship and for top seed for the conference tournament. We'll see what goes on tomorrow and give more updates on that. In the Peach Belt Conference, Dominic Pucetti pitched 6 1/3 shutout innings, got his 9th win of the season, as Lander held on for a 3-2 win at Georgia Southwestern. The Bearcats are now 35-13 overall, 21-4 in the Peach Belt. They clinched at least second place in the conference, so they will get to host one of 2 first-round sites, be a host site of one of 2 first-round areas in the conference tournament next weekend. Lander's now 35-13 overall, 21-4 in the conference. They are a game behind North Georgia, which is now 22-3 after beating Georgia College tonight. Georgia Southwestern tonight fell to 29-19 and 16-9. For Lander, Will McClellan had a homer and an RBI. Also in the Peach Belt, Jake Hobson hit for the cycle and drove in 4 runs, and USC Aiken beat USC Beaufort 10-8 in the first game of the series down in Hardyville. Peach Belt Conference Series, of course. The Bearcats are now 20-27, 9-16 in the conference. Beaufort fell to 9-34 and 5-20. For Aiken, Donovan Glisson was 3 for 4 with a walk, 2 runs scored, and an RBI. In the other game involving a state team in the Peach Belt Conference, Columbus State beat Claflin by a score of 19-1 in 7 innings. The Cougars improved to 24-21, 15-10 in the conference. Claflin fell to 5, 37-1 and 0-25, and the Panthers have lost 29 straight games. In the South Atlantic Conference, Limestone clinched a berth in the conference tournament with a win over Virginia Wise. That final score was 4-1. The Bearcats scored 3 runs in the 7th and 1 in the 8th to win. Coach Brett Harker said that's the first time the program's reached the postseason in about a decade. So that's some big news for them. Of course, they're dealing with the uncertainty, or well, maybe it's too much certainty that the school may be closed after this year, or at worst, the athletics will be closed. Athletic department will be closed down. We'll see what's going on, but Limestone is doing what it can to keep its season going as long as it can. Saints are now 23-24 overall, 15-13 in the conference. Virginia Wise fell to 26-19 and 14-14. In other games, these involving other 4-year schools, Reinhardt swept Columbia International in the Appalachian Athletic Conference. First game score was 11-1 in 7 innings. Second game score was 6-4. The Reinhardt is no worse than a tie for first place for the conference championship. There's a chance that Tennessee Wesleyan could tie them, depending on what happens. Reinhardt's 37-9 overall, 23-6 in the conference. Columbia International fell to 28-19 and 14-15. Payne took a pair of games from Morris. First game score was 10-7. The second game score was 12-7. Jonathan Warren had 2 hits in each game for the Hornets, who fell to 1-38. Payne is now 19-8, and they've won 6 straight games against state teams this week. So it's been things been going well for Payne. And the other games that were played on Friday night, Bob Jones, as I mentioned, played a split doubleheader that played Toccoa Falls in Game 1, and Toccoa Falls scored the go-ahead run on a wild pitch in the 9th inning. It was supposed to be a 7-inning game, so it was extra innings, and held on to win that game 2-1. Then in the second game, which started around 9 o'clock, Carolina University rallied from an early deficit for a 10-5 victory. The Bruins fell to 10-27 with those losses. All right, let's take a look at by the way, I do not have all the ACC and SEC scores. When I get them, I will post them on the score list at PalmettoStateBaseball.com. I'll give you what I've got so far. Duke beat Virginia Tech 6-3 in 11 innings. Florida State beat Louisville 10-2. Miami beat Boston College 2-1. North Carolina beat Pitt 15-5. Notre Dame beat California 8-1. Virginia beat Georgia Tech 12-9. Wake Forest and Stanford were still playing as I record this. They were out in California. In the SEC, Alabama won its second straight over Missouri 7-3. Florida beat Arkansas 6-4. Georgia evened its series with Oklahoma 10-9. Ole Miss beat Vanderbilt 8-3. And the Mississippi State Auburn, Tennessee LSU, and Texas A&M Texas games were either still in progress or had not yet started because of weather when I recorded this. How about Saturday's games? Let's take a look. As I mentioned, the Clemson-NC State series will wrap up tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Let's take a look at what else is going on among Division I teams. Spartanburg, USC Upstate is at Gardner-Webb at 3. The South Carolina-Kentucky game up in Lexington will start at 2:30, actually a doubleheader, of course. UNCW is at College of Charleston at 2 o'clock. Charleston Southern is at Presbyterian at 3. Coastal Carolina and James Madison will continue their suspended game at 3 o'clock, followed by the regularly scheduled game at 40 minutes after that game ends. VMI is at the Citadel at 3 o'clock. Wofford is at High Point at 5. And I believe I may have left out Winthrop at Longwood, which is at 2 o'clock. Elsewhere, among other teams, starting at 11 o'clock, Newberry and Francis Marion will play a non-conference doubleheader at Sparrow Stadium down in Florence. Benedict is at Kentucky State for a doubleheader at noon. Carolina is at Bob Jones at noon at Coniston Park in Greenville. North Greenville is at home for a noon doubleheader against Southern Wesleyan. Southern of New Orleans is at Voorhees for a doubleheader in the HBCU AC. Columbia International wraps up its weekend series at Reinhardt at 1. Columbus State is at Claflin for a Peach Belt doubleheader at 1 in Orangeburg. Gaston College is at USC Lancaster in a doubleheader in Region 10 Junior College play. Also, Shorter is at Erskine for a 1 o'clock doubleheader. The Spartanburg-Morris game has been canceled. Not sure exactly what's going on there. USC Sumter is at USC Salkehatchie for a 1 o'clock doubleheader. USC Union is at Florence Darlington Tech for a doubleheader at 1. Virginia Wise is at Limestone for a 1 o'clock doubleheader. Landers at Georgia Southwestern at 2. USC Aiken is at USC Beaufort at 2. Lenore Ryan is at Anderson for 4 o'clock. They pushed that series back a little bit. They're going to play a doubleheader on Sunday now. And that rounds up the schedule for Saturday, April 26th. One other note. Spartanburg Methodist announced on Friday that Tim Wallace is indeed stepping down permanently as the head coach. He had stepped down prior to the season over health issues, and he was told by school officials he could step back in if his health got to that point. He was serving in an administrative role or advisory role at the school, but he opted instead to step down. Won over 1,300 games, 32 seasons, great guy. Helped a lot of people get their college baseball career started, helped some folks get their coaching career started, such as Monty Lee. So I just wish Tim the best. As you may have heard, there's a GoFundMe account for him to help pay for some of his expenses in regards to his health. If you opt to do that, I'm sure that he and his family would appreciate it. But for now, that's what we've got going on with the South Carolina College Baseball video recap, easy for me to say, for Friday, April the 25th. You can always follow stuff at PalmettoStateBaseball.com. I give Twitter updates or X updates and the handle of Palmetto Base. For now, this is Rudy Jones of PalmettoStateBaseball.com saying good morning, God bless, Jesus loves you.